I guess if you've got a small amount of debt, you want to focus on paying it down before saving or putting your money elsewhere. The last thing you want to do is increase your debt to be able to manage. So what we would ask people to do is to just focus on paying down that small debt and really to hopefully become debt-free at some point.
That being the case, would you recommend the same sort of strategy with maybe a larger amount of debt? You know, if you've got a mortgage, if you've got a car loan, if you've got other debts as well, credit card debts, particularly after Christmas.
Yeah, so what we're finding is a lot of people go into debt over the Christmas period, so they borrow money to manage the expense of Christmas. We'd strongly urge people not to go into more debt to manage that debt, to focus on paying it down, to get help early if they're feeling overwhelmed and they're struggling with meeting their debt repayments, particularly if they've got mortgages and secured debts. And people can do that in a number of ways. They can talk to their bank. The bank wants to help them. The bank is really keen to hear from people if they're struggling, help them work out a solution. Or what they can also do is go and see a financial counsellor. And would urge people to do that early in the year and not to wait till it becomes really overwhelming and something unmanageable.
Kelly, is the reason that you first focus on paying down that debt before, for example, as you say, saving, is that because debt can build up quite high fees and also interest over time?
Yeah, it can. And it's also quite easy to get into debt these days. There's a number of new debt options. There's a lot of unregulated debt, such as buy now, pay later schemes that people get caught up in. And they can kind of catch up on you very quickly if you're not careful, if you're not budgeting and kind of structuring your payments and prioritising your debts.
Now, we are, of course, facing rising interest rates, Kelly. Many people would say, well, this is the best time really to save, you know, put it into a savings account and the interest will help you gain more money that way. But what happens if you've got a mortgage payment? You know, a lot of people are going to be falling off that mortgage cliff in the next couple of months or so.
Yeah, we're starting to see that already. Interest rates are at a 30-year high. And compounding that is that people's mortgages now, compared to 30 years ago, are significantly higher. People are borrowing seven to 8 times their family's income compared to back 30 years ago where they were only borrowing 3 or 4 times. So there's some uncertainty and more interest rates forecast for this year. And that means that people need to plan for that. There's a lot of people who are currently on a fixed rate, which was a great move for them, but it's likely that they'll come off that fixed rate at some point this year and revert to the variable rate. And there's calculators available that can help them forecast what those repayments are going to be, so they can start planning for that now. And if that looks like something that's not going to be achievable for them, then they need to reach out and talk to their bank or a financial counsellor and get a plan in place early so that they're not living with the worry of that.
Kelly, in your view as a financial counsellor, can debt be a good thing?
Well, debt can be a good thing if it's achieving assets and increasing your net worth. So as financial counsellors, it's okay to go into debt for a home or for a car or for something that you need or is going to add value to your life and increase your overall net worth. Borrowing money to go on holidays, to buy Christmas presents, borrowing money to pay back other money can get you caught up in a cycle of debt, and that's when it becomes dangerous.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? It makes you very anxious as well. And it does seem that, you know, when we reach adulthood, a lot of our anxiety is actually linked to the debt that we acquire. How do you teach children about debt and about budgeting and that sort of thing? How do you teach them to be more money wise?
Well, I guess children learn from their parents. So it's good to have conversations with them. It's good to have a budget on the fridge and show that to the kids and talk to them about it. There's a lot of really useful tools on ASIC's Money Smart website for children, young people, and adults as well. There's some really great budgeting tools, loan calculator, and mortgage repayment tools, and resources to help young people learn about money.